The Hindu Kush, also known in Sanskrit as Hindkush, and Parayatra Parvata, and in ancient Greek as the Caucasus Indicus, ancient Greek, kappa alpha upsilon kappa alpha sigma omicron sigma iota nu delta iota kappa omicron sigma, or Paropimosade, is an 800 km long mountain range that stretches between central Afghanistan and northern Pakistan. It forms the western section of the Hindu Kush Himalayan region. It divides the valley of the Amu Darya to the north from the Indus River Valley to the south. The highest point in the Hindu Kush is Tirukhmir or Terichmir at 7,708 meters in the Chitral district of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Pakistan. To the east, the Hindu Kush buttresses the Pamir Mountains near the point where the borders of China, Pakistan and Afghanistan meet, after which it runs southwest through Pakistan and into Afghanistan, finally merging into minor ranges in western Afghanistan. The mountain range separates Central Asia from South Asia. Origin of name. The origins of the name Hindu Kush are uncertain, with multiple theories being propounded by different scholars and writers. In the time of Alexander the Great, the Hindu Kush range was referred to as the Caucasus Indicus or the Caucasus of the Indus River, and in the time of Islam in India, the regular invasions possibly derived Hindkush as Hindu Kush, Hindu Ku and Kui Hind, usually applied to the entire range separating the basins of the Kabul and Helmand rivers from that of the Amu Darya, or, more specifically, to that part of the range lying northwest of Kabul. Sanskrit documents refer to the Hindu Kush as Hindkushatra, in short Hindkush, as frontier lands of India. Kash as in Kashmir, word also synonym of frontier part of Kusha, grass. Over the centuries, various Puranas attempted to explain the origins of the word Kash through referring to the name of the mythical sage Kashyapa. Hindkush all around from Amu Darya River, in Tajikistan, Afghanistan to Kashmir Indus Valley was Kashatra for meditation and teachings by founders of Hinduism, the Iranian Aryan Sanskrit tribes, the original inhabitants of Hindu Kush, Pamir and Himalayan region. The mountain range was called Paropimosade by Hellenic Greeks in the late 1st millennium BC. Other sources state that the term Hindu Kush originally applied only to the peak in the area of the Kushan Pass, which had become a center of the Kushan Empire by the 1st century. The Persian-English dictionary indicates that the word kos is derived from the verb meaning to kill, although the derivation is only a possible one. Some authors have proposed the meaning kills the Hindu for Hindu Kush, a derivation that is reproduced in Encyclopedia Americana, which says that the name Hindu Kush means kills the Hindu, and is a reminder of the days when Indian slaves from the Indian subcontinent died in the harsh weather typical of the Afghan mountains while being transported to Central Asia. The World Book Encyclopedia states that the name Kush means death, while Encyclopedia Britannica says the name Hindu Kush first appears in 1333 AD in the writings of Ibn Battuta, the medieval Berber traveler, who said the name meant Hindu killer, a meaning still given by Afghan mountain dwellers who are traditional enemies of Indian plainsmen. The word Ko or Ku means mountain in some local language Koar. According to Nigel Allen, Hindu Kush meant both mountains of India and sparkling snows of India, as he notes, from a Central Asian perspective. History. The mountains have historical significance in the Indian subcontinent and China. There has been a military presence in the mountains since the time of Darius the Great. The great game of the 19th century often involved military intelligence or espionage personnel from both the Russian and British empires operating in areas of the Hindu Kush. The Hindu Kush were considered, informally, the dividing line between Russian and British areas of influence in Afghanistan. During the Cold War, the mountains again became militarized, especially during the 1980s when Soviet forces and their Afghan allies fought the Mujahideen. After the Soviet withdrawal, Afghan warlords fought each other, and later the Taliban and the Northern Alliance and others fought in and around the mountains. The American and ISAF campaign against al-Qaeda and their Taliban allies has once again resulted in a major military presence in the Hindu Kush. Alexander the Great explored the Afghan areas between Bactria and the Indus River after his conquest of the Achaemenid Empire in 330 BCE. It became part of the Seleucid Empire before falling to the Indian Maurya Empire around 305 BCE. Alexander took these away from the Persians and established settlements of his own, but Seleucus Nicator gave them to Sandrocotis, upon terms of intermarriage and of receiving in exchange 500 elephants. Strabo, 64 BCE to 24 CE. Indo-Scythians expelled the Indo-Greeks by the mid-1st century BCE, but lost the area to the Kushan Empire about 100 years later. Before the Christian era, and afterwards, there was an intimate connection between the Kabul Valley and India. All the passes of the Hindu Kush descend into that valley, and travelers from the north, as soon as they crossed the watershed, found a civilization and religion, the same as that which prevailed in India. The Great Range was the boundary in those days and barrier that was at times impassable. Hindu Kush, the mountain of Hind, was similarly derived. Pre-Islamic populations of the Hindu Kush included Shins, Yeshkun, Chilis, Neem-Chaskoli, Palis, Gawer, Yeshkunts, Kramans, Indo-Scythians, Bactrian Greeks, Kushans, and ancient Iranian Aryan Vedic Sanskrit tribes. Mountains. The mountains of the Hindu Kush system diminish in height as they stretch westward. Toward the middle, near Kabul, they extend from 4,500 to 6,000 meters. In the west, they attain heights of 3,500 to 4,000 meters. The average altitude of the Hindu Kush is 4,500 meters. The Hindu Kush system stretches about 966 kilometers laterally, and its median north-south measurement is about 240 kilometers. Only about 600 kilometers of the Hindu Kush system is called the Hindu Kush Mountains. The rest of the system consists of numerous smaller mountain ranges including the Koi Baba, Saling, Koi Paman, Spingar, Suleiman Range, Sayako, Koi Khwaja Muhammad and Selseleri Bandi Turkestan. The western Safako, the Malmand, Chalapdalan, Sayaband and Doshik are commonly referred to as the Paropamize by Western scholars, though that name has been slowly falling out of use over the last few decades. Rivers that flow from the mountain system include the Helmand River, the Hari River and the Kabul River, watersheds for the Sistan Basin. Numerous high passes transect the mountains, forming a strategically important network for the transit of caravans. The most important mountain pass is the Saling Pass. It links Kabul and points south of it to northern Afghanistan. The completion of a tunnel within this pass in 1964 reduced travel time between Kabul and the north to a few hours. Previously, access to the north through the Kotli-Shibar took 3 days. The Saling Tunnel at 3,363 meters and the extensive network of galleries on the approach roads were constructed with Soviet financial and technological assistance and involved drilling 1.7 miles through the heart of the Hindu Kush. Before the Saling Road was constructed, the most famous passes in the Western historical perceptions of Afghanistan were those leading to India. They include the Khyber Pass, in Pakistan, and the Kotli Band east of Kabul, which was superseded in 1960 by a road constructed within the Kabul River's most spectacular gorge, the Tangi Garu. This remarkable engineering feat reduced travel time between Kabul and the Pakistan border from 2 days to a few hours. Later Band Road. The roads through the Saling and Tangi Garu passes played critical strategic roles during the U.S. invasion of Afghanistan and were used extensively by heavy military vehicles. Consequently, these roads are in very bad repair. Many bombed-out bridges have been repaired, but numbers of the larger structures remain broken. Periodic closures due to conflicts in the area seriously affect the economy and well-being of many regions. For these are major routes carrying commercial trade, emergency relief and reconstruction assistance supplies destined for all parts of the country. There are a number of other important passes in Afghanistan. The Wakja Pass proceeds from the Wakhan corridor into Xinjiang, China, and into northern areas of Pakistan. Passes which join Afghanistan to Chitral, Pakistan, include the Barohil and the Kachin, which also cross from the Wakhan. Important passes located farther west to the Shota Garden, linking Logar and Paktia provinces, the Bizarik, leading into Mazar-i Sharif, the Karwik Pass in the Panjshir Valley, and the Anjuman Pass at the head of the Panjshir Valley giving entrance to the north. The Hajigar Kanone lead into the eastern Hazarajat and Bamyan Valley. The passes of the Paropamisus in the west are relatively low, averaging around 600 meters. The most well-known of these is the Sabzak between the Herat and Bajis provinces, which links the western and northwestern parts of Afghanistan. These mountainous areas are mostly barren, or at the most sparsely sprinkled with trees and stunted bushes. Very ancient mines producing lapis lazuli are found in Kaukcher Valley, while gem-grade emeralds are found north of Kabul in the valley of the Panjshir River and some of its tributaries. The famous Balas rubies, or spinels, were mined until the 19th century in the valley of the Abi Panj or Upper Amudaya River, considered to be the meeting place between the Hindu Kush and the Pamir ranges. These mines now appear to be exhausted. Eastern Hindu Kush. The Eastern Hindu Kush Range, also known as the High Hindu Kush Range, is mostly located in northern Pakistan and the Nuristan and Badakhshan provinces of Afghanistan. The Chitral district of Pakistan is home to Tirak Mir, Noshak, and Istra Nal, the highest peaks in the Hindu Kush. The range also extends into Geyser, Yasin Valley, and Ishkoman in Pakistan's northern areas. Chitral is considered to be the pinnacle of the Hindu Kush region. The highest peaks, as well as countless passes and massive glaciers, are located in this region. The Kiantar, Kurumbar, and Tarak glaciers are amongst the most extensive in the Hindu Kush, and the meltwater from these glaciers form the Kunar River, which eventually flows south into Afghanistan and joins the Bashkal, Panjshir, and eventually the much smaller Kabul River. Highest mountains.